guys. My name is Daria and I'm the host of the Parable of Design podcast. I know y'all are kind of used to me having a guest, but every now and then I do intend on doing some podcasts where it's just me, myself, and I. So I'm trying to be professional with this, but if you see my phone in my hand, I'm just looking at my notes. Just to get started, I'm gonna give a little bit of background about myself. I feel like I just kind of jumped out there with my first two podcast releases, just so y'all could get a really nice taste of what's to come. I really, really, really love the first two. I hope y'all will love this one, and I hope y'all will love the rest that I intend on releasing. So, first thing on here is just a little bit about my background. For those of you who do not know me, once again, my name is Daria formerly Daria Davis, hence Daria Davis Design. This is one of my hoodies, by the way. I talked about it in episode 2, so if you haven't heard that, go check it out. So I was born and raised in Memphis, Tennessee. I attended Jackson State University for undergrad, where I got my degree in art with a concentration in graphic design. And then about maybe a year and a half after I graduated from Jackson State, I then went to the University of Memphis to obtain my MFA, also in graphic design. So I do have a lot of graphic design experience, but I don't just consider myself a graphic designer. I think at this point, I consider myself more of an artist and designer. That's also something that I spoke about in episode 1. But yeah, I really just enjoy creating, really into painting, really into illustrating, and really from a more technical aspect, I'm into creating solutions for more complex design problems. So that's kind of where the graphic design comes into all of that. So overall, I really have just really regular hobbies. I really love shopping. I love going to get a sweet treat, whether that be a boba tea or a scoop of ice cream. I am a sweet treat girl. I don't even know where that has come from. Really love, loving on my doggies and my husband and my friends and family. Just spending time and hanging out. I really love being out in these streets. And what I mean by that is like the farmers market, festivals, all the different fun things that Memphis has, or when we, travel and things like that. I just love adventure and just, seeing new things and experiencing new things I just love that. So that's a little bit about me. Oh, and also podcasting. I guess I could consider that a hobby as well. As a matter of fact, that it leads me into my next topic, which is what is Parable of Design? So once again, I think I had a few posts that was like, get to know Parable of Design, da 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 da. But basically, Parable of Design is honestly more than a podcast. It's also a brand. So it's really just where life and design intersect. I feel like throughout my life and my career, I saw so many similarities between design principles and the things that I was, kind of going through or the things that I was learning. So balance is a design principle, and I was learning about having more balance in my life. Hierarchy is a design principle in the way that I would, reference that as far as life is just, what are you prioritizing? What matters the most? So in that, I was just like, oh, wow, I have this thing where I say my misery does not enjoy company. And I always feel like whatever I learn, I'm really super excited to be able to, kind of tell someone, about that, or hey, give them a shortcut, or maybe not a shortcut, but just like a cheat code, just kind of plugging them in, because I'm like, hey, been there, done that. You do not, want to go down that route. So that's what it's really about. I have a ton of creative friends who I think are so exciting and just so inspirational. And I just really wanted the opportunity to, get to know them more and share their coolness with the world. And, even beyond them, there are so many just creative people that I'm so excited to get to know and talk to and learn about their stories, learn about, their path to being creative. Because as we know, a creative path is such a roller coaster. I think all paths are roller coasters, but I'm, speaking specifically for the type that I have. So just excited. I hope that makes sense. But just stay tuned. If you subscribe and if you continue listening, I think you'll learn more and more about what I intend to show. So today I want to talk about AI and graphic design. So this has been a topic that's been on my mind a lot. I work, as a graphic designer by day. Like that's like my full-time job. So every day I'm being, immersed in new AI technology, software, whatever you want to call it. I'm using AI as like an umbrella term. I know that there are, smaller subsets, different, things that sites and stuff that we can go to, utilize to make photo editing faster, whatever the case may be. So when I say AI, it's just a broad term at this point. I know there are, smaller subsets of it. But I think the thing for me and kind of where I guess like the words of wisdom comes in is that this isn't the first time that I've experienced something like this. So right when I had graduated from college, Canva was like the latest and greatest thing. And don't get me wrong, Canva is still, super cool. I love Canva. I use Canva all the time. I think it's a really incredible tool. But back then, um, people were like, well, what you need a, graphic design degree for when you just have Canva? They can do everything we need. And I love Canva, but Canva can't do absolutely everything. And also Canva needs Wi-Fi. And Canva needs a human to do it, and typically a human with a good eye for design. However, I do feel that Canva is good for beginners and anybody who needs to make whatever, creative assets that they need to make. And for anybody who's ever utilized um Canva, you know that it has so many great qualities. So listen, I am a fan. By no means am I trying to hate on Canva. I absolutely love it. But I was just like, dang, just, freshly with my degree, having learned so many things. And, I felt a lot of value in the skills that I had learned, obtained, and we're still learning. And I still feel that way to this day. But I just remember there being a very large amount of folks, just articles, whatever, people talking about, Canva is taking over and we're gonna lose our jobs. And I was like, OMG, I just got here, wow, pump the brakes. Okay, now, I'm gonna say we can fast forward about 7 to 8 years later, and AI is at the forefront. It's been, slowly making its way, but it's definitely been advancing at a very fast pace. And once again, I think AI is an incredible tool, just like I felt like Canva, is an incredible tool and still do. But I noticed a large amount of, and this is me being on LinkedIn. Okay, so take that as you will. But I'm certain that people have these conversations amongst themselves and within corporations and businesses and stuff. This topic comes up a lot. But I'm seeing that once again, we're still, having this conversation about how AI is going to take our jobs. Like I literally read an article about it today, and this woman was talking about how, she's gonna pivot and maybe lean not so heavily into graphic design and to utilize her other skills. And I'm like, I'm right there with you. Honestly, I feel the same exact way. I don't necessarily feel intimidated because I know that life repeats itself, and I know that there is a lot of value in what I do, whether companies value that or not. That's, that's not up to me, I guess, I guess I'm just kind of at a crossroads with it. And in my mind, I try to be, optimistic about what's at hand and the reality of the situation. I don't have a crystal ball. I can't tell you the future. But what I do know is that being a human matters. And beyond any title or anything else that anybody could take away from you, or that could be dissolved so suddenly or removed. I think there's so much power and beauty in being human and being a creative. And, I don't need Wi-Fi to work. I say that all the time. I think that's hilarious. I do not, to be honest, on a light day, all I need is paper and a pencil. Like if we really want to break it down back to like the most basic of, art practice, we can like, really break it down. But I know, that companies have to protect their bottom line. I know that AI is all about efficiency and working smarter, not harder. I get it, and that is one of the reasons why I think it's an incredible tool. But the main point that I'm trying to make, and I think this is something that extends well beyond, creative work. You could be a medical professional, you could be a chef, honestly, a football coach. Doesn't really matter. I think similarly to back then, and when the conversation was about Canva, and now as we're talking about AI, both times talking about you're going to be replaced, oh, the whole thing, um I'm always drawn back to something that I learned very early as I was, feeling a little bit frustrated with comments like that. And, that frustration led to me feeling a little bit stagnant and not knowing what my next move was. And that was because I had put too much into the work that I was doing. Work is just that. At the end of the day, no matter what comes, no matter what goes, work is work. Okay? If you're like me at 5 o'clock, I close that laptop. I'm not thinking about work. Okay? I'm not gonna lie, there are some days where I have little, comments about the work day, but I have incredible life balance. And I'm saying all this to say that your work does not equate to your worth. So say it with me. My work does not equate to my worth. It does not. And that was honestly something that I really had to learn, because all these discussions and all these talks have you going crazy and feeling, down and out, and have I wasted my time? No, you haven't. You have other skills and things will be okay. You're not the first to be in a field that, time progresses and, advancements exceed, and you feel left out in the wind. It's, and we're talking worst case scenario here, but I'm just saying, like, one of the ways that I just remain positive is knowing that, at the end of the day, who I am and what I do not have to be the same thing. Like, I could sit here and talk all day about I'm an artist and I'm a designer, but I'm a daughter, I'm a wife, I'm a sister, I'm a friend. Okay? Like, those are the things that matter the most, because the jobs are going to job. Okay? The titles are going to title, and that's forever going to be a thing. And I just wanted to say that because I feel like a lot of times, once again, it's just so easy to feel that way. It's so easy to, and maybe it's not AI and Canva and all of those things. We all have things that are very unique to us that, have a way of kind of crawling into our brains and making us feel as though, what the freak are we doing, But it just is not. And there was actually a article that Toni Morrison wrote that really resonated with me. It was like, I heard the thing about, learning that my work does not equate to my work. And then in true Daria fashion, I have to go Google it so I can see it expounded upon. It's like, oh, I've learned this gem, and now I need to know more of it. So I'm gonna get my phone. I don't know why this is my podcast. I don't know why I feel so unprofessional for looking at my phone. It's not like I'm texting. Oh my God. Um, Let me see. So yeah, the article is called "The Work You Do the person you are. And it's beautifully written. Once again, it's by Toni Morrison. And basically, she's just, describing this moment where she was like working for a person and she had some feelings about it. And her dad just kind of gave her some advice about it. If I'm not mistaken, I feel like it was her dad. And I'm just going to read some of the bullet points to summarize, that she summarized the notion that she felt from her dad. The first one is whatever the work is, do it well, not for the boss, but for yourself. And I love that. I would consider myself a super like hardworking person. My mom always told me, if you're gonna do something, do it right. So I just don't really find myself half-assing like that. It's just not in me. But I have found that having that sort of work ethic and mindset really only benefits me when I do it for myself. Because one, sometimes people won't appreciate it. Sometimes people won't notice it. Sometimes people won't value it, once again. So it's just one of those things to keep on your brain. Number two, you make the job, it doesn't make you. And I think this thing is excellent. I work in a corporate environment. We all, people are freelancing, working in corporate, whatever, your, vibe or environment may be. But I think, that's really another really important thing to think about, certainly, because you bring the razzle dazzle. You are the star. You're exciting. You bring, your expertise and all of the things that make you your unique perspective. And that's really exciting. And it's really not the other way around. It's you saw a role, you applied, you're in it, and you're providing your, splash to it. Okay. In lesser terms. But yeah. So number three is your real life is with us, your family. This is one that I really love. Sometimes I've had a tough day or, we got a lot of stuff happening politically and all of that. And I felt like, what is happening? This one really resonated with me as well, because honestly, hanging with my husband, hanging with some of my BFFs, just cuddling my dogs, hanging with my mom or something, it really does it for me. Okay. It's like all this stuff doesn't even matter because, I mean, at the end of the day, this is what you have, once again, whatever may come, whatever may go, you have, your support system and the people you can really depend on. And that's really important. And the last one, you are not the work you do. You are the person you are. And that's honestly just the summary of this whole thing. You're incredible. You're amazing. People love you. Your friends love you. You're funny. You're all these things, You have family, you have your plants, You make good macaroni and cheese. I don't know, but you're who you are. Don't let any job, title, scary article, okay, define you and make you feel less worthy than what you are, because you are worthy, and not because of anything that you can do for anybody. You're worthy just because, for real, believe me. Okay. um so that's just a summary of the podcast for today. Not a lot. I know the other two were kind of lengthy, but I wanted this one to just be a little bit more shorter and a little bit more inspirational, and to also honestly just kind of talk about graphic design and AI, or just art and AI in general. For me, moving forward, I think work wise, I truly believe that I will be a lot of things in this lifetime. I certainly am a Jill of all trades, y'all. Like, I love learning, and I've been able to obtain a lot of skills from all of the roles that I've worked, over like the past decade and beyond. So I'm excited. That was something else I read. I'm gonna like link these things that I read in like the description box so that y'all can read them too. But basically, it was an article. I want to say it was about Gen Z. I'm a millennial, but it was about Gen Z. And it was discussing about how basically Gen Z I want to say, doesn't have a linear career, or maybe the last of folks attempting to have a linear career, something in that range. What I took from it, once again, is that I think that was already kind of out the door where people were, being at jobs for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. Granted, people are still doing that, but they're typically a lot older. I think nowadays with the job market being, crazy and situations like they saying they gonna take our job. I didn't say it, but they're saying it. Okay. um you might have to pivot. You might, this year you might be baking cakes, and next year you may be into data analytics, who knows. But being able to hone in on these skills and have a career that doesn't necessarily look like the traditional career, but it's, definitely you being able to kind of take life in your career by the handlebars and, make a life, make a living. And it doesn't, once again, look the same in a traditional sense, but it's still exciting and it's still fulfilling. And that's super important. So once again, I'm gonna link that so y'all can see that. And I'm gonna say this, y'all, don't judge me if that's not what it said. No lie. I read a lot, and sometimes with me reading a lot, I sometimes merge, articles together. The Toni Morrison is definitely that, because I wrote notes about that. But honestly, I'm like, I'm reading so much, and then I'm like, where did I read that at? Like, even when it comes to books, I am confusing the plot. I'm like, oh, that was from that book and not that book, and it's a thing, but whatever. But I'm excited. This was a really good episode. That's about it for what I have to talk about today. Once again, comment down in the comments and let me know what you feel just about graphic design, AI. What do you think about the future? How do you feel about AI? Do you like it? I have a lot of creative people that don't like it. Like, as a tool, yes, but in the instance of it essentially being fed a bunch of things and then outputting, like, uh, that's kind of crazy. I'm going to input all of this artwork and then I'm going to output artwork that looks like it. Where's the meaning? Where's the thoughtfulness? Where's the human touch? Do people care about human touch? These are the things, this is very interesting to say the least. But once again, I, am always excited about the future, excited about the present, and that's all you really can do, okay? Life be life it, honestly. And for those of you who are like just graduating and stuff, don't be scared. You are doing just fine. You are going to be okay. You will find a roles, multiple. They will love you. You will obtain them. You will work there and things will be great. But just have great work-life balance. Love on your friends, love on your family. Go for dinner. Go to lots of dinners. Travel. Because honestly, at the end of the day, we're on a floating rock. And a lot of stuff that we think matter does not matter in this scheme of things. So once again, this has been your girl, Daria Red, from the Parable of Design podcast. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Please make sure to like, subscribe, share, comment, leave me 5 stars on Apple Music or Spotify. Like, love on me. I want the love, honestly. So this has been good. Bye.